Hey everyone, Jacob Howard here, and today we are going to discuss how to get you set up and ready to start flying in simulators. Simulators will teach you the basic stick movements that you need to learn in order to fly your drone. You can crash all you want and not have to worry about repairs. It will help you learn throttle control, how to hover, forward flight, using both sticks simultaneously to turn, and many more skills. So let's jump into it. There are several good simulators out there that you can get and practice on. Some free simulators are FPV Drone Simulator and Worlds Adrift, which is a computer game with the drone simulator mode. However, we recommend purchasing a simulator like Liftoff, Velocidrone, FPV Air 2, or DRL Simulator. Each of these costs about $20 or less, but will more than pay for themselves with the money you will save in drone repairs. In any drone simulator, physics will not always be true to life, but they get close. The paid simulators will come the closest and will also have customizable options to adjust the drone settings, physics, and feel. The free ones are good for having fun and getting an idea of how your drone flies. We haven't found them to be realistic enough for good practice. To hook up your radio transmitter to the computer, there is one of two ways, a USB cable or a receiver dongle. Receiver dongles are a great plug-and-play way to connect your radio to your computer wirelessly. However, they can cost anywhere from $15 to $30, so it might not be for everyone. Plugging in using a USB cable is way more cost-effective, but can sometimes be a little tricky to set up if it doesn't work right off the bat. Here are some tips to help get your transmitter working properly on your simulator. Use the correct USB cable. Some cables are meant for charging only, and some are for both charging and data. You must use a data USB cable for it to work properly. Check the driver. Most issues with transmitters not working on simulators is due to your computer not automatically selecting the correct driver when you plug it in. So once you've got everything connected, you will need to go through a few of the settings. Modes are the biggest one. Flight modes control how the drone will react to your input. There are normally 4 main modes that you can use in most simulators: Acro, Horizon, Angle, and 3D modes. In Acro mode, there is no self-stabilization of the drone. You control what angle the drone will be at with your stick inputs. Angle mode will limit how far the drone can tilt in the pitch and roll axis. Horizon is much like angle mode, except it will allow you to do flips and rolls in the pitch and roll axis when giving them their max input. Both angle and horizon mode will return the drone to level flight when not giving stick input. 3D mode is more for advanced pilots. It's more like acro mode, but will allow your drone to reverse the motors and fly and hover upside down. When it comes to the simulator, feel free to explore and try anything you want. But there are basic things you need to learn to help you fly your drone in the real world. Throttle control. The first thing to practice in the sim is throttle control. This is how you will keep your drone in the air. You can start off by just hovering and seeing how the throttle reacts to your input. See if you can hover in place without touching the pitch or roll stick. It's okay if you drift a little bit, just try to work on the throttle for now. Try ascending and descending without touching the ground. You will notice that when you are dropping, you need to give it more throttle to counteract your downward momentum. Next up is yaw. Yaw is what controls the direction your drone is facing. It is normally controlled with the left stick when you move it side to side. Once you have your basic throttle control down, go ahead and try playing with the yaw. Look left, look right, do a 360, and try to stop pointed in the same direction. The tricky part of using yaw is trying to not adjust the throttle level when giving yaw input, so definitely make sure you practice that. Pitch. Pitch is the amount of tilt your drone has forward to back. Pitching forward will put your drone into forward flight and vice versa. In the simulator, go ahead and try playing with the pitch. You will find that when you pitch forward, you will need to add extra throttle because some of the downward thrust that was being used to hover is now being used to propel you forward. The same applies for moving backward. When stopping forward or backward movement, you will need to pitch the opposite direction and add throttle to counteract your momentum. Roll. Roll is essentially the same as pitch, but in a side-to-side direction. Try using roll to move the drone left and right. You will still need to use throttle accordingly to try to keep the drone at the same altitude, and use the same technique with the throttle to stop and reverse directions. After trying each action individually, you can start to mix all 4, throttle, yaw, pitch, and roll, to fly the quad around in the simulator in a more fluid way. Don't be afraid to make mistakes and try new things. The important thing to learn is how to use all 4 stick movements at the same time. Camera angle. The camera angle in simulators is often set to around 30 degrees of up tilt. This means that while sitting on the ground, the camera is tilted up at a 30-degree angle. This is normal for a lot of pilots, but for beginners starting at a lower camera angle will often feel more intuitive and easier to get used to. The camera angle often sets the cruising speed at which you fly, because when flying forward, the camera follows the angle of the drone in relation to the ground. So if your camera is at a 30-degree angle, for your camera to be level with the horizon, you'd need to fly your drone at a 30-degree angle, which will increase your speed. And naturally, when flying, you want the camera view to be level with the ground. So setting the camera to a 10 to 15-degree angle will help you fly slower and be able to learn without flying super fast. Now that you know the basics of how the quad flies and moves, it's time to work on takeoffs and landings. Takeoffs are pretty easy, just raise the throttle until the drone is in the air. An important thing to remember when taking off is to either go straight up or pitch forward slightly when taking off so that you know your drone will go in a safe direction. Landing can be a bit more tricky. Learning to come in slow and steady can be a little hard when your FPV camera is tilted up. We recommend using stationary objects to help gauge how close you are to the ground. Things like a fence or tree can help you see how far off the ground you are. Just remember to do your best to not run into anything. While practicing in the sim, it's a good time to learn how to fly low to the ground. Flying low to the ground will help you learn fine throttle control and also come in handy when making landings. Remember, small, little movements on the controls will yield great results. Sight flying. Sight flying a drone means flying it in the third-person perspective without your goggles. This is a skill that can potentially save your drone from a crash. If you have a video failure, you can take your goggles off and safely land your drone, assuming you are flying in line of sight. Most simulators will let you change the camera view to switch to a third-person view of the drone. Simulators are a great place to start practicing, and in the first section of this course, we go over how to set up in the liftoff simulator. Make sure to check that out and get some flights in on your virtual quad. We also have a model you can download and use in Liftoff that simulates the drone we teach in this course. That way you can practice with the same models and drones we are. The link is down below. If you guys have any questions, let us know and have fun flying.